Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. This is Haejin with a morning update for Bitcoin. So we have price doing a bit of additional correction, and that's already freaking out a lot of new people. Understandable. It's very difficult emotionally to handle ups and downs, especially when price seems to be going more sideways, and it can be quite nerve-wracking. But I think if you get a good picture of the big picture, which is shown here, we're not even close to even being finished with, I think, White Wave 3. There are other analysts out there calling for 20,000, for this to collapse back to 20,000, sub 10Ks. Could they be right? Is it possible for them to be right? Yes, it is. I mean, look, anything's possible. But to me, possible and probable are very different events. And I think so far, my event analysis has taken us pretty well through where we are now. And from a short-term perspective, this really looks still to be as an ABC, okay? And maybe it's not an AB, but a WXY. Maybe it's done. I don't know. Where is it? But from a pattern perspective, I think maybe we can draw a line across here. Okay, I'll make it white so we won't get confused. And a line across the bottoms. And what do we have? This is what's called a rising ascending triangle. And usually it's A, B, C, D, E, and then a breakout to the upside is what's expected. What's interesting is you can see in the short term also how this is combined. The rising is combined with a left head, or you can call this left, this whole thing as a head, and this is the right shoulder. So, I mean, it really hasn't resolved yet. But it certainly, to me, does not mean end of the world, just to have a bit of a correction. It's struggling in the 59K, clearly, sub 60K. There's a good amount of selling pressure, but with each hit in that level, that reduces the number of sellers. So that resistance becomes weaker. I think we're still in the ABCDE modality, still working on B, and we may only go to maybe 62, 63,000, and that's fine. Then we don't have a running triangle, we have a regular triangle like this. Fine with me. But this whole thing is going to take a little time. And that should complete the yellow 4. And it should generate a yellow event on this one to trigger the 5, yellow 5 of white 3 towards the mid-70s, 80s, 90s, hey, maybe even 100K. I don't know. And if that finishes by end of May or mid-June, we'll probably get 3, maybe even 4 months of corrections. Slow bleeding, sideways, overlapping, chop, chop, chop price action until wave 4 is done. And I think the last 12 weeks to 15 weeks of the year would give us a dizzying, jaw-dropping, orgasmic upward lunges in price to levels that would be shocking to many bears. For new members, welcome. I mean, I put this up in, let's say you have $100,000. I would put 70% into HODL, maybe hold these tokens, trade only with 30%. If you are a noob, if you are totally new to this, I would do 90% into your HODL and trade only with 10% of your portfolio. That way, if you screw up and something happens and lose all of your trading portfolio, which is possible, then you will have the HODL to fall back on and for this to generate massive returns. I want to look at a little bit more on Litecoin. Back in the 2015 and 2011 correction, we had a yellow event and another yellow event that followed, and this gave 8,600% return. Now, if we come to present time, we had a yellow event and another yellow event followed, and price has been rising since then. So if we get 8,600% return from this second yellow event and bring it up to maybe, that'll be about almost $5,000. And the price is only $389. So that kind of action is what we're looking at. But people are freaking out based on this kind of correction, this kind of retrace, but everything is happening above the blue bullish trend line. So yeah, you might get 30%, 40%, 28%, but the trend is still on the upside. And if we get 8,600%, oh my God, you know where that'll be. So you need to keep this kind of big picture in mind, which is why I keep reiterating it practically on a daily basis, because what happens on the short term has very little echo into the longer term bullish cycle. The key thing is for you to see when this blue event occurs, and whenever it occurs, that's an exit sign. And if it does occur, you want a GTFO. Get the heck out of that and go cash, not in USDT or USDC or any other stable coin, but money in the bank out of the exchanges. That's what I'm going to do. LTC, BTC, yowzers. I think we may get all-time new highs, which means it's going to go above prior one and the prior high and likely go towards 0.067 or so. That's going to be an impressive run. So stick around for that. Funny how even for XVG, this little correction is freaking people out. You should see my inbox. I'm not laughing at the people. I'm just seeing how predictable human nature is. Fear and greed. I mean, this inverted head and shoulders really launched the whole bull market trend. This was the launch pad for the market. I mean, can it go to 32 cents? I think so. So what happens on the left side of the blue trend line? Ignore it. It shouldn't. I mean, this decline percentage-wise, when it went all the way up here and declined to this, that was a 54% decline correction. Okay, but the trend is still remaining up. The blue line is still remaining solid. So, I mean, I've given this analogy before. With regards to your HODL, treat it like your, quarterly retirement 401k or IRA statements. Many don't even open it. They just throw it on the desk and close it and put it away. Treat it like that until end of December for all your HODLs. Yes, even with a 54% decline. Some traders might say, how can you even justify a 54% drawdown? I'm explaining it to you. The trend is remaining up. So yeah, you can see that as a panic moment, but I would see that as a buying the dip opportunity moment. You should be salivating when price does that, so you can add to your position. And the trend being up means that all of this can be easily forgiven. If you, let's say you bought at the exact top at 0.0850 and price is below your buying price, but if you give it time and allow this to do its bullish work, you will be at far, far greater profitable heights. That's the outlook you should get. In a bull market, any bad long position trade can be forgiven, except probably at where wave 5 might be, but in due time, even that could be forgiven, but it just would take longer because it's at a higher degree of trend. Ethereum, go, 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 baby. I mean, this is going to be phenomenal. So this could be an extended fifth to finish the blue 3. Then in jiving with Bitcoin, we'll get 3 to 4 months of correction for wave 4. And the last 12, 15 weeks of the year is going to be, can we see a $50,000 Ethereum? Why not, is what I say. Have a good day.